Namaste and very good evening to one and all. I'm Rashmi Malapur Jaswal, content writer, author, and founder of Research Eye, content writers and storytellers. Welcome to Leaders Connect 360 Foundations episode NC0220. Leaders Connect 360 Foundation is a non-profit organization aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDG. Our mission is to invite 1,000 plus leaders and create 1,000,000 leaders. Every Wednesday, we come together from 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. IST on Zoom Live to gain insights from top management leaders and last week of the month from authors. And once every quarter, we take it offline in different cities to network, support, and grow together. Because at Leaders Connect 360, we strongly believe that leaders create more leaders. Before we kickstart the episode, a quick reminder. Please keep your videos on for an engaging experience. First-time visitors, check out the WhatsApp, Facebook, and LinkedIn links in the chat box to stay connected and grow with us. This episode is being recorded for our community archives. Now let's set the energy high. If you're excited and ready for an impactful session, drop a thumbs up or a smiley in the chat. Fantastic. And before we go, let me introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Kannan R, AVP, Human Resources, SitusAMC, India. Let me also introduce Mr. Pankaj, Managing Partner, Bija Training, who will be interacting with our guest alongside our panel discussion leader, Ms. Kalaiyarasi Elango, Certified POSH, Corporate and Master Trainer. Without further ado, let's get started. Over to you, Mr. Pankaj.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rashmi. Good evening, everyone.
Good
I
evening.
welcome you all on behalf of Leaders Connect, the Master Leadership, and Bija Training. So here I take this opportunity to welcome our guest, Mr. Kannan, as also. And the topic for today is ethical leadership. Right? Hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. So without any further delay, I would like to officially welcome you and our panel discussion leader, Ms. Kalai. So Arul, can we have the welcome video for our guest and panel discussion leader, please? So now I officially welcome our guest, Mr. Kannan, as our panel discussion leader, Ms. Kalai. Welcome.
Uh, thank you, Pankaj. Thank you so much. And it's nice to be here on this platform again and again. And every week we are learning something new. And today we are having Mr. Kannan as our speaker. So looking forward for that. And today we are talking about something that is no longer just futuristic. It is very much here. Yes, it is artificial intelligence. AI is now helping us making big decisions from hiring people to planning strategy. But with the power comes serious responsibility, right? As leaders, we are not just asking how do we use AI. We need to ask how do we lead with AI ethically and responsibly. So we have Mr. Kannan, someone with deep expertise at the intersection of technology and leadership. Let's get into it and let me shoot the questions, Mr. Kannan. So today, as leaders, are you using AI in everything from hiring to customer service, but balancing innovation with integrity isn't easy. In your view, what are some of the toughest ethical challenges leaders are facing when it comes to AI?
Okay. First of all, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Leaders Connect 360. And where leaders create more leaders. That's really a great motto that you have. Thank you for conducting these sessions, which are really fruitful. And thank you, Jocelyn, for inviting me for this episode. And thanks, Arul, for the very warm introduction. I never thought I would go on a video. Thank you, everyone. And happy to share the stage with Elango and Kalaiyarasi.
Kalaiyarasi.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's okay.
And today's topic, yes, ethical AI and leadership. AI is no longer a myth. It's something which is evolving nowadays. And it is also the need of the hour, as we all know, the booming AI revolution the last few years. And it becomes essential for us to understand how to implement an ethical and a responsible AI system. So, on to your question, biggest ethical dilemmas that we face today. First of all, what is ethical AI? It's something about designing, developing, and implementing an AI system which is in line with the moral values, culture, the human values, and also the societal norms. So, having said this, talking about the ethical dilemmas, I would like to take a survey result from the World Economic Forum, which happened recently. Okay, this result says this is on identifying the top concerns while adopting AI. So they say like 43% of the respondents say that data privacy and 30% say ethical implications are identified as top concerns while adopting AI. So having said that, definitely a leader would have certain ethical dilemma. So one of the dilemmas that I would say is on the fairness part, fairness and being unbiased. So AI systems are nothing but it's just going to inherit human biases from the historical data that we feed it. So it may lead to unfair or discriminatory outcomes if we have a biased data fed in. So ensuring algorithmic fairness is actually a major concern. So let me just take a small example here. Everybody knows, like a famous FMCG online major, they developed an AI recruiting tool. So which was more gender biased. It was only accepting resumes from a particular gender, and it was rejecting another gender. Of course, they have scrapped the tool, but this shows the bias. The reason for me to quote this is AI system automatically replicate or reinforce the human biases present in the historical data. So any unchecked bias not only violates the ethics or laws, but it can also erode the trust factor among the employees and the customers. So another dilemma a leader could face is on the explainability or the transparency, I would say. So how many of us would know how AI arrives at a decision? Is a big question, as AI automatically pulls information from the data that is being fed in, through which it creates a decision making model. So we are not aware of how it does it. So lack of transparency makes it hard for the leaders to justify any AI driven decisions to stakeholders or identify the errors. So the third dilemma or an ethical issue that I would say is on the accountability part or the responsibility and liability. So if an AI system makes a faulty decision, who is going to take the responsibility, because it can, if it is a faulty decision, it can even harm, and it can take lives also, because AI is being used in high-stake decision-making processes nowadays. So, for example, if an algorithm in a finance industry makes a lending or a loan approval decision which is biased or flawed, the company's leadership should be answerable for it. Of course, I mean, on the positive side, we have quite a few regulatory and legal frameworks which is also pushing for it. So, if you take the case of European Union, which is coming up with their AI Act, they are even imposing fines of up to 7% of the global revenues of the companies in case they are deploying any high-risk AI without proper oversight or documentation. So another dilemma or a situation that I would say is on the data privacy and consent, because everyone knows AI often relies on massive data sets. So many eyebrows would raise on usage of personal data because you're using your customer information or the employee records. In case of any misuse or breaches, it would automatically lead to reputational damage and regulatory frameworks as well. So another thought would be on adopting AI, of course, can bring efficiency, but at what cost? We should think about the ethical responsibilities towards employees and societies. Improving efficiency through AI while considering the impact on workforce, which is very important. More so, what happens is like there is a pressure to deploy the AI quickly for competitive advantage. So we are not taking much time to properly review or ethically review and test it, which is something which we need to do. And on a positive note, I would say there are many regulatory bodies and many industry groups providing guidance nowadays, which would help the leaders navigate these dilemmas. So we shouldn't sit back and say, okay, we have quite a lot of dilemmas because without AI, we can't survive in the future. So we will have to overcome it.
Okay, well said, Mr. Kannan. You have taken the survey and everything, and you spoke about a lot about the data and the bias. So we often think the AI is neutral, but the truth is it always reflects the data it's trained on, right? So it can carry bias. How do you see the unconscious bias showing up in AI? What risk does the pose for decision makers?
Okay, that's a good question. Let's be very clear. AI systems can be biased as it depends on the data that is used to train them. So if the data or design is unfair, automatically the AI system will also be the same. So for leaders, it is definitely a critical challenge if they rely on AI insights or automation that carry underlying biases. So in that case, their decision making can also become discriminatory without even them realizing it. So this not only leads to any unethical outcomes, but can also cause or expose the organization to reputational, legal, or performance risks at large. Let me take a hiring example. I'm sorry, I might take a lot of examples on hiring, performance management, or even finance, because being in
It's
HR,
completely okay.
something comes automatically, and being in finance industry, this would come automatically. So now, if an AI tool used in hiring, this might learn a gender bias or a racial preference or even a demographics preference from the past hiring patterns. Likewise, a performance evaluation system. So this might favor certain processes. See, while we talk about performance metrics, this might be different for each and every project depending on the complexity of that particular project. But AI wouldn't understand it. Okay, the impact at the leadership level on this is like, I mean, is at large. In fact, I mean, making strategic decisions based on these biased AI insights unconsciously enforces bias in decision making. So you might end up promoting someone who is not good enough for it, or you might end up hiring someone who is not good enough for it. So this would undermine the leadership credibility and also undermine the diversity and inclusion part. In going back to the same example of the online FMCG majors experimental recruiting AI, is more gender biased. Of course, the leadership team there have scrapped the tool. However, this case clearly illustrates how unseen bias in AI can directly affect the hiring decisions at the leadership level. I would also take another example here. There is a company's credit card algorithm that offered significantly lower credit limit to women in comparison to men with similar profiles. And this was found out by a tech entrepreneur where he got 20 times higher the credit limit compared to his wife, although they share the same finances. So these examples would show you how biased AI systems can lead leaders into ethical crisis. So some of the options that I would say is leaders should start embracing frameworks like HITL, human in the loop decision making, where AI recommends something and these recommendations are reviewed by a person who can override or question them in case there is a potential bias. So, for example, in hiring, the final screening or the final decision making should be done by a recruiter, although the AI system does the initial screening. Likewise, in healthcare, if you look at it, the scanning or any diagnosis is done through AI, but it is reviewed and verified by a physician. So in customer service, as Kalaiyarasi started talking about customer service in the beginning, so the chatbots automatically escalates complex queries to human agents. So the most welcoming part is that many industry researchers have started developing toolkits. I mean, one such toolkit that I see is the AI Fairness 360 toolkit by IBM or Google's What If tool. So this AI Fairness 360 toolkit, it's actually a pretty good one. It uses around 70 fairness metrics, which is pretty good to use scrutinize the AI models against bias. So with these kind of factors, I would say, the unconscious bias can be overcome in a longer run. And with leaders being able to identify it, they should also be able to correct their decisions, even if the AI fails.
Yes, absolutely well said. As you mentioned, that many people are they are focusing only on the AI, and it is very difficult to identify the people who is good enough and everything. So we have to be very conscious enough to understand and everything. And thanks for sharing the tools and everything. Also, as AI is moving fast, but are we as leaders keeping up ethically? Do you think today's leaders are equipped both in mindset and skill to guide AI use responsibly in their organization?
That's a very crucial question, Kalaiyarasi. With the emerging AI technologies, it becomes very crucial, and many leaders are enthusiastic about AI's potential. But being a champion of AI doesn't mean or is not the same as being prepared to govern it responsibly, which is very important. I would take a 2024 report from Stibo Systems. Okay, they found a major gap in AI literacy and ethics training among business leaders. Around 58% of leaders admitted that they are lacking AI ethics training, and almost 49% told that they are not even prepared to use AI responsibly. So most leaders are familiar with AI's business applications, but fewer are trained in the ethical considerations such as bias mitigation, fairness, data privacy, transparency, and even accountability for that matter. And there are various reasons into it, I would say. One can be the technical complexity of AI. We are not sure how the AI behaves, and leaders are not familiar with these concepts of algorithmic accountability, data governance, etc. And another issue is the pace of AI innovation. As you rightly said, it's going ahead of us. So it easily goes ahead of the organizational learning pace. So to gain competitive advantage, of course. So nowadays, AI systems are increasingly involved in high-stake decision-making processes. So although it is getting involved in these high-stake decision-making processes, leaders don't feel fully confident to challenge those systems. So on the positive side, if you notice, this awareness of this gap is pretty much growing, and people are taking steps to better equip themselves and, in fact, the organizations. Not only that, even the legal frameworks are supporting us at large. If you take company majors, maybe like IBM or even Accenture, they have their own internal education programs. You can talk about the generative AI and LLM, the large language model center of excellence. Tech Mahindra have their own. So they all involved in creating the Gen AI solutions and also train the clients. They have a panel of experts who train others as well, which is pretty much required to equip our leaders to face the brunt. Not only that, we have ethics and governance nowadays. And internally, every organization should start practicing. There are quite a few who are already practicing having AI ethics committee, AI councils. They appoint AI executives. Okay, so in fact, IBM, I took an example. They have an AI ethics board. This would guide the company's AI use. So you need to have a proper AI risk management framework. This would definitely help leaders at large to ask the right questions and also set limits on any AI applications. To be very honest, they must be aware of the regulatory landscape, and they should also connect with cross-functional collaboration, which is pretty much needed to bridge the technical or the business teams. So those who are educated and preparing themselves now will definitely be better positioned to guide their organization and also avoid any sleepwalking into AI missteps, which is very, very important, and it is rightfully possible.
Yeah, it was true. As you mentioned, the awareness spreading even recently. Has mentioned legal purpose also, and the people are exploring a lot of things, and when it comes to that, the transparency is big value in leadership. Some can complex and unclear. So what do you think about the transparency in AI, or how much important it is, and how how can leaders ensure there is an accountability in how it's used?
Okay, I would say this is my personal favorite question. See, transparency or even accountability, not only in AI, in general context, it's pretty much needed. You need to know, have an open house. You need to know who is responsible for it. So, for any AI-powered initiatives to succeed, obviously trust is a main factor. Trust from the stakeholders, let it be trust from the employees who are using it, or trust from the customers or public or even regulatory bodies. This is very important. To build that trust, I would say transparency and accountability are two major pillars. Transparency is about being open and clear about how AI is being used and how it works. And accountability is about taking responsibility for the AI outcomes. Both go hand in hand. In fact, I would say transparency also supports the stakeholders understand how AI systems make decisions. It would build trust automatically. It would enable accountability and allows users to challenge or appeal decisions. So let's talk more about transparency. It's about making the AI's decision process explainable and disclosing when and where AI is being used, about communicating the data and the logic behind AI's decision making in an understandable term. So, from a leader's perspective, transparency is just being candid and open enough and forthcoming with the stakeholders or with the employees as well. Let me again take the example of performance or screening resume. Okay. If I am a transparent leader, what I would do is I would inform the employees about how the AI works, how the performance is being calculated, how the profiles are being scrutinized. I would explain clearly on how the tool works, which is very, very important. If you do that, automatically this would remove the fear factor. Many of us say like when AI is going to take our jobs. Definitely not. It is only going to support us. So we need to approach it in the right way. So we can remove the fear factor if we are transparent enough. And also at the same time, it also invites feedback. Okay, so let me go to the accountability. This goes hand in hand with the transparency. So it means like you have set and defined rules for a person who would answer for the AI's actions. So automatically you cannot say like if an algorithm goes wrong, you cannot go and blame the algorithm. It is just fed by us. There should be someone who is responsible for it. Being accountable might involve setting up clear oversight. It also establishes processes to review the AI decision. So it also builds trust in a way, stating that somebody is held responsible for the AI outcome. The stakeholders will be happy, the customers will be happy, the employees would have the trust in the particular system. Any kind of issues or something, the person who is responsible will have to take its accountability and investigate if there is an issue, and also would have to support the cause. If they do it, automatically this is going to implement a perfect AI system. Nowadays, there are many AI committees that have been followed in the system, and also there are quite a lot of regulatory frameworks which is also supporting the cause. I'm pretty sure this would overcome the transparency and accountability part.
Definitely, I agree with you. And a final question to you. At end of the day, AI is just a tool. It's a culture that shapes how we use it. What are some simple but powerful ways leaders can create culture where AI reflects human values and ethical thinking?
Okay. See, the way AI is developed and used in an organization will automatically reflect the culture of an organization. Okay, so that's directly proportional. So we have to be very careful in implementing the AI system, and leaders have a very critical role in creating a culture where AI is aligned with human values and also the company's ethical standards. Okay, this does not mean it should only comply with formal rules, but also should follow the principles and purpose that the organization stands for. Every organization stands for different kind of values. So this has to be supported by the AI. So I would say, let's take the values per se. For example, if a company is into has safety and respect as their core values, automatically the AI that interacts with the customers should also be tested for safe performance as well as for respectful language. So automatically depicting the culture of that particular organization. And again, we spoke about transparency. Let's take the same point again here. So if you are transparent enough and openness is available in the organization, employees at different levels would be encouraged and empowered to speak up. They will come and say, like, okay, an AI application, if it is misaligned with ethical norms, they will raise it. It's about receiving the feedback. So we should take those feedback and should not see those as obstacles. Likewise, start involving the cross-functional teams as well. The company might involve not just the developers or the engineers or the testers who are behind the AI, but also the legal experts, the ethics committee that we were talking about earlier, even the HR, whoever has a fair idea about it while shaping the AI policies. Now, to foster a culture of AI alignment with human values and also with organizational ethics, let's say leaders can follow a few things. They should establish an ethical AI governance structure. So, we were talking about the AI ethics board of IBM. So, let's create something like that. Have your senior leadership part of it and cross-functional stakeholders as well, and set guidelines accordingly. Let's develop and publicize AI principles. There are certain organizations which already have a set of AI principles, let it be Google or Microsoft, they have their own. So leaders should involve employees also in crafting these principles so that they are much involved in it. They know about the process of AI being ethical. And you should train the employees continually. It's not a one-time activity or one-time event. Obviously, you need to provide regular training sessions or workshops on AI ethics. It can be cross-functional discussions. It can be through internal forums or case studies, and even a casual coffee chat would do. That would also support the cause. And start defining red lines. If you see like your company is against anti-discriminatory, it's about equal opportunity, define those red lines and have those properly crafted in the AI. That would automatically depict your culture. So when AI is aligned with this human and organizational values, it not only prevents harm, but actively it enhances the company's mission. So employees would also feel safer and they would be proud working for this particular brand. And I would also say that it would align with their personal values and it would most boost their morale and engagement. All the more, we should see AI as a tool to support us, and leaders should be well equipped to handle it.
Yeah, that was an absolutely fantastic answer. As you mentioned, we have to involve employees to have a better understanding, the awareness. Also, we spoke about the bias, accountability, and a lot of things. Of course, it is very important. And thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge. It was a wonderful, productive evening to everyone of us. Thank you so much for it.
Thank you, Kalaiyarasi, for shooting the questions and
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, Ms. Kalai, for taking the wonderful panel discussion, and Mr. Kannan for taking it in a very simple manner. So, my understanding on AI is like, AI is like a genie. How best we utilize, what kind of, command we are giving, right? Our wishes become their command, right? So, it is a human only who has to deal with AI intelligently and keeping aspect, right? The ethical aspects, all right? So that is where again I believe that human still is there and human commands the AI basically. So it's on us how best we create a culture of using a AI in a proper manner, right? So that has been my take on the AI. Let's see what people have understood from the discussion which we had for last 30-35 minutes through a mode of a quiz. So here I would like to call upon our quiz leader, Mr. Karthik, to ask a quick question, and let's see who wins today's book. And the winner will get a book written by Miss Vani Pradeep, and the name of the book is Soul Feeder 2.0. So let's see who wins it. So here I call upon Mr. Karthik for a quick quiz, please.
Right. Thank you, Pankaj. Kannan sir was really insightful, very crisp, very transparent. I mean, loads of information. It was almost like visualizing a science fiction movie as it is when you're looking at this thing. So I had two questions in mind, but Rashmi, as such, had typed the answer for one of the questions. So I'm going to go with another cheeky question, given that tariffs and fines and impositions are the topic of the day for the past 1 week. So team, if you're ready, when Mr. Kannan was talking, he had mentioned pretty early in the session about a particular percentage which the EU is looking at as a tariff or a fine for all the companies which are not following the ethical practices when it comes to AI implementation and AI practices. So what was the number that Mr. Kannan was hinting at? Your options: 17% of their annual turnover, 7% of their worldwide annual turnover, 0.7% of their worldwide annual turnover. What was the tariff fine that Mr. Kannan was telling that EU has decided to post upon all the companies which are not following the ethical practices when it comes to AI? Answers in the chat box, please.
That's a tricky one, Karthik, today.
Yeah, no, I was going for a different one, but let's see if this doesn't work. I will go for a different one. This is thanks to because Rashmi had typed the answer for another question, so I didn't want to get into that. Right. So we've got the first answer, Pankaj. I think Dinesh Anand has typed it correctly. It is 7% of the annual worldwide turnover. That's the tariff for the fine that Kannan was talking about, or hinting that EU has implemented it. So the other one, what I was planning to was ask what was HITL, but then the people, scrolled up the chat box, they would have got it. So I said, no, I'm not going to do that.
Okay. Thanks,
So
sir. I guess
so who's the
Sangeeta.
so congratulations, Mr. Dinesh.
Sangeeta mentioned
Who's the winner?
0.7%. So who is the winner? Actually, Sangeeta is the first person mentioned 0.7%.
So it is not 0.7%, it's a whole 7%.
Whole 7%. Got it.
So that's why I said it is Dinesh Anand as it is.
Okay, so congratulations, Mr. Dinesh Anand, and you also get an opportunity or a bonus to unmute yourself and ask one question to our guest, Mr. Kannan. So congratulations to you once again. Arul will take care of your prize book, which will reach you soon. Mr. Dinesh, you can unmute yourself and ask the question if you would wish to.
So, hi all. So, myself Dinesh, and I have only one question which I want to ask with Kannan. So, can you specify some legal laws or policies followed for AI?
Okay. There are not one or two, there are many, to be honest. Okay, then I think I didn't cover that during the discussion. See, from the US, you have laws of AI Bill of Rights. That is one which I can think of. And there is also one on the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission in the US that guides using AI in hiring. They also say it must comply with anti-discrimination laws. So likewise, we spoke about the European Union's upcoming AI Act. It speaks a lot on how a high-stake decision-making AI system have to be defined, and what are the different regulatory penalties that would apply in case if you are not following it. And of course, when you answered the question from Karthik also. And in India, we pretty much talk about this IT Act of 2000. Although there are not much into AI on that, there are processes to address the failure of protecting data there, and on any cyber offenses involving AI. More so when we can talk about the DPDP Act, the Digital Personal Data Protection Act of 2023, if I'm right. So this is something which regulates the personal data used by the AI systems, how to maintain the privacy, how to get the data consent. This is more so in terms of data protection, because we were talking about data privacy and consent in one of our questions earlier. So while doing so, it's very important that we get the consent of the respective person when you are using their data. And also, you will be using those data for any particular process. If you are using it for any particular process, you are supposed to use it only for that generic or specific process, and you cannot use it for anything else. So it talks about that purpose limitation and on the based processing. So that is more of the DPDP Act that supports here. And there is also an act which is coming up, the Digital India Act. This might most probably override this IT Act or replace the IT Act at large. It's not yet implemented, but it talks a lot about AI systems and how we can implement it. And it talks a lot on AI accountability, the deep fakes that is happening, the algorithms that it goes, and if there is any harm, how people would be penalized there. And there is also one important factor there. It even categorizes certain processes as high-risk processes. See, we use AI in different things. Like we use it in healthcare. When it does healthcare, there are a lot of life that is involved. So in those cases, obviously, you need to follow certain guidelines. These guidelines, everything would come in this Digital India Act. And another thing that I can think of is on the NITI Aayog's ethical AI guidelines. This was a discussion paper a few years ago, which talks a lot on AI. I think the topic is on responsible AI for all. This gives a lot of information about AI per se. And in the US, you already have quite a lot of laws. I would just take, if we still have time, I can take one example of online self-driving major when they tested their self-driving cars a few years ago. There were a lot of questions about the safety in case of any accident, and there seemed to be an incident which occurred during that time. So from then, this particular major connected with the regulatory bodies and accordingly designed the safety standards and how to take it forward. So people and the companies are working with the regulatory bodies nowadays, and these kind of legal frameworks will support AI in a larger run. I hope I answered your question, Dinesh.
Yes. Certain. Thank you. Thank you, Kannan.
And thanks, Rashmi, for bringing that AI for all.
Thank you. Thank you. So we can have visitors would like question. Please unmute yourself, and you can ask your questions, or else we can move forward. So can you please check? Everybody raise their hands.
Yes, we have Miss Rashmi. Yes,
Do you have any questions?
Yeah. Hi,
Rashmi.
good evening, sir.
Yes.
I think so. It was a very informative discussion, and I thoroughly enjoyed the clarity that you have about the topic. My question is that I'm a writer, I'm a content writer, and I'm trying to identify in AI what field I should be working henceforth. So I'm learning AI. So you said there's some guidelines that companies frame while making a model, or making the AI choices that are going to fit into their company. So do I have any chance of writing these guidelines? Are they going to require people who understand AI in depth, and the application of it and the impact of it? It's a very personal question I am asking.
Perfectly fine, Rashmi. See, when I would ask you to go through this AI for all discussion paper from the Niti Aayog, which would give a lot of information on this. Of course, the companies when they implement their ethics committee or AI principles, it would be pertaining to that particular company and the culture. So, for example, if you take the case of Google DeepMind, where they have their own AI principles, like or Microsoft, that would be more aligned to the culture that the organization stands for. So more so, we can look into a generic requirement. This discussion paper from Niti Aayog would definitely help your cause. And also go through the guidelines of digital India. I mean, it's still evolving. That can give you some idea about how AI takes account. I mean, how we need to take accountability on AI, how transparent it has to be, and how we need to classify a high stake decision making process. And also, it sets certain norms like no-go areas. Like, I mean, you're not supposed to go to that particular topic or something. So these things can support your cause while creating the contents.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Arul, is there anyone else for the question? Please check.
Yeah, we have Karthik sir. Yes, Karthik sir.
Yeah. So, Kannan, we were talking about Google's ethic board and and all of that. I remember there was a news not back where they had an external body being shut down almost within a couple of weeks of that being formed. I think it goes somewhere like ITAC or ATAC and all of this, because the ethics board's chairman were not truly unbiased, if we could use it. They were calls of anti-phobia, anti-transphobia, whatever it is. So coming to India specifically, given that you're talking about the new IT policy, and I've also looked at it, where do you see? Because as a country as it is, we're still very conservative when it comes to various, I would say, outlook as opposed to the West as it is. So, do we really look for the IT policy, or do you think each leader should take it in a way that would suit their organization, and thereby maybe still bring in a bit of conservatism or their bias, or it should be completely open? How do you look at it? I know the question could be a little out of the left as it is, but still I thought I should ask.
The answer would be simple, Karthik. I mean, it should be both ways. Like, I mean, see, in a generic perspective, we need to follow the legal frameworks, whatever has been set for the AI. I mean, we cannot say, like, I mean, as an organization, we cannot say, like, I mean, we would not follow these ethics or the legal framework. We definitely will have to go ahead and follow the legal framework, for which we need to understand it clearly. We need to go through the laws completely, and we need to understand it clearly. On the other side, every company, every organization has its own culture, has its own values. So definitely, as a leader in that particular company, you will have to work on your own possibilities while aligning your culture to the AI model. I mean, one company might have a different value, another company have different values. So that way, it can be company specific as well. On a generic run, yes, you need to follow the legal framework. When it comes to specifics, you can be aligned with your organization.
Thank you, Kannan. Thank you.
Thank you so much for asking question. Arul, is there anyone else, or else we move forward with our summary?
Yeah, let's move forward. Yes.
Okay, so here I would like to invite our summary leader for the day, Miss Priya. So can we have our summary leader, Miss Priya?
Yeah. Good evening, everybody.
Hi.
Good evening, Mr. Kannan. Thank you very much for those wonderful insights. As you started with that big mark that AI is no more a myth. And yes, developing and implementing AI system in line with work ethics, that's the biggest challenge everybody is facing, because there are a lot of concerns in line with this, like data privacy and how it implicate there is implications on the ethical part of the company policies, and we have there are a lot of things that accountability, all those would be have implications, and AI would have a bias based on the leader's policies. So depending too much on AI would have these implications, ethical implications. And yes, it is risky to rely leaders to rely on AI totally to define the rules, because as you said, AI would be biased based on the leaders' biases. Unconsciously, we may end up defining a policy that is totally biased. So it is good to have a review at the end. Like, for example, you gave that example of a simple scan report. It's good to have a human review at the end. And yes, so talking about leaders, any leaders, yes, they are enthusiastic about AI, but very few are equipped, or very few are, say, champions in the field of AI. They are actually afraid to implement this. But yes, defining policies using AI ethically, carefully, and involving cross-functional teams, involving employees, taking feedback from employees can lead to a good policy that aligns to the value and ethics of the company. That is the biggest challenge, but when done well, would make wonders, right? That's the biggest, say, point that leaders should take into account, especially the accountability and the transparency part when defining rules and forming the framework. The transparency and accountability, that's the biggest part any leader should take into account while leveraging the advantages of AI. And yes, of course, training for employees should be done continuously, so that the changes they are aligned with the changes, whether it is in the technology or the values or the ethics, they are all aligned. And of course, AI is also aligned based on that. And defining the red lines is also important while defining the policies. And you ended with that wonderful note saying leaders should be well equipped to handle AI. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, Ms. Priya, for doing a wonderful summary. And here I would like to call upon Mr. Karthik as our vote of thanks leader. So, Mr. Karthik, over to you for vote of thanks, and then we have an official thanking video. And I would also personally like to thank you, Mr. Kannan, for giving wonderful insight about AI and giving a different perspective on how it can be done in, because see, everybody feels that AI is something very specialized, but everybody can use it in a proper manner and by using yeah. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, and we wish you that you'll be part of this community, and we look forward to connect, sir. Thank you so much.
I'll be very happy to stay connected, Pankaj, and thank you for this.
Thank you.
Right. So,
Mr.
good evening.
Karthik,
Yeah. So, good evening, everybody. Thanks for being present till the end, as it is. From the days of copy and paste, we've come to where it's a tightrope walk for leaders when it comes to ethics and leadership. If leadership alone was difficult, I think putting ethics and then this AI bringing in all into it, it has become very tough. But I'm remembered or reminded of this particular thing. As things change, more the things change, the more they remain the same as it is. So at the end of the day, it's it's an individual choice. So firstly, to quickly share, again, Leaders Connect 360 is a non-profit organization which is primarily aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Program. We connect every Wednesday, as Rashmi had said, between 6:30 and 7:15 p.m. and we bring in leaders from various areas of life, profession, to share their insights. And I must say, Kannan sir, today's session was fantastic. There were a lot of insights, a lot of information, but it never felt that there was too much to digest as it was put in a very nice way, crisp, to the point, transparent, where people could understand. And I think that's the first reason why we should all thank you for it. It was really nice. You were able to put spotlight on various things and make it very easy. The WhatsApp University would say that Albert Einstein said, if you can put a particular subject in such a way that an 8-year-old can understand, then you've understood it. I think you've mastered and aced that particular thing today when it comes to ethical leadership and in AA as it is. So thank you very much, Kannan, for all your valuable insights. Our deepest gratitude and my sincerest gratitude as well for clarifying it. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our panel discussion leader, Miss Kalaiyarasi Elango. The questions were really nicely put, crafted, and our ever wonderful smiling Mr. Pankaj for leading the discussion today. As a small token of appreciation, we're going to present with a thank you video to express our gratitude. So thank you one and all, and we'll be seeing you again next Wednesday. Over to you, Arul.
Thank you so much, Mr. Karthik.
Thank you.
Arul, can we have the thanking video, please?
Okay, thank you so much from my side. Just a second, yes.
Thank you, Arul.
Yeah, thank you, Pankaj. Thanks for leading the session. And from my side, thank you, Kannan sir. Thank you for joining with us today. Thanks for accepting to be the guest of honor for today's session. And I wanted to thank all the members who supported for this complete episode. Thank you so much for all. Thank you all. Let's all join for the next week, Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Good.
Yes.
Have a great week, guys.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.